what's called high sensitivity testing, okay? In other words, minutia detail that's important. That's more subconscious or not as highly aware. Remember the phraseology of how you do that. Like if you were asking ADLs, you're going to ask second resistances, not just once, twice, and then you're going to ask the total polar opposites of totally negative and positive. Let me share with you what that sounds like. Are you having any, here's the first resistance. Are you having any pain or restrictions with your neck, Craig, while you're at work? That was the first resistance. I'm going to come to the second resistance. How important is the second resistance? Never do anything. Never ask anything once. Okay? The general rule is 3, but at least 2. Because what happens by the second resistance? You increase your response rate over 50%. So he says, no, I'm going to the second resistance. And then how I ask it, I'm going to ask it slightly negative. Slightly negative, so you're not having any neck pain. That's slightly negative. But I'm going to say it negative and positive. So let me understand, Craig, you're not having any neck pain whatsoever, and it's 100% healthy. So I'm going to the absolute bad, absolute good. That's second resistances. That's how you get finite, subconscious, or low awareness answers. Okay? And just because it's subconscious or low awareness, does that mean it's not important to that person? Because what's going on in that person's life? Everything. Kids, family, school, work, everything. In no way does it mean that it's not necessarily important. They just got a lot of stuff. You can't have all that stuff at the same amount of awareness. You'll go crazy. You have to suppress some stuff just to get through the day. So again, what does it sound like? Are you having any pain or restrictions with work, Craig, with your neck? So first resistance. So you're not having any pain or restrictions with your neck at all? No. So that was just the negative side, but I'll go both ways now. So you're not having any pain or restrictions with your neck at all, and it's 100% healthy. Okay, and I'll give you this last clue. Now I'm just telling you, or sharing with you right now, how to just really drive home a question, to drive home an answer, to really get stuff you wouldn't have got by asking one time a general question, okay? The last piece of the puzzle. Second resistance, totally negative, totally positive, and connect their anatomy with the highest probability motion, that they have the highest probability of pain or restriction. This is what it sounds like. You have any pain or restrictions with your neck at work, Craig? So when you're at work, you're not having any pain or restrictions at all. When you bend your head backwards and it's 100% healthy, you have no trouble at all doing that. That was an absolute question right there. It had a lot of content. Second resistance, had total negative, total positive, and I connected his chief complaint with the highest probability of motion that has the highest probability of pain or restriction. That's what I just did. That's black belt stuff there. Learn how to start talking that language. You're going to start finding a lot of problems. What's the importance of finding these problems? These, as opposed to a general question once. What's the purpose as opposed to a general question once? Compare that to this. Does your neck bother you at work? How many no's am I going to get and that I actually have positives with versus the way I ask it? Okay? How important is it for you, the doctor, to get this information? What categories does it fulfill? Does it fill an administrative category? Yes. Does it fill a clinical category? Yes. Does it help fulfill the need for care category and its motivation to spend time or money? Yes. It fills all those categories. You want to find it, and quantify it. How important is it to find problems and quantify problems? You're not a doctor if you can't do that. That's what tells you everything. That tells you the diagnosis. They're getting better, worse, therapeutic protocol. Increase or decrease, change therapies, increase therapy frequency, decrease it, get an outside consult. Everything is based on the biomarkers and your quantification response to treatment. Everything. Get good at finding and quantifying, right? And why is it important for you? It establishes the need and gets you paid. You don't get paid for normal, generic stuff. Okay? And is it good for the patient? If you're the patient, would you want your doctor to know all those minutiae and all of it quantified and how it changed over a therapeutic protocol from one re-exam to the next? If you were the patient, would you want your doctor to know that?
Yeah.
A lot or a little? 100%. Okay? So that's what it would sound like. So just be aware, that's like the black belt question to get answers. At least the second resistance. I always teach 3 resistances. Typically you won't get much on the third resistance. Typically the first question is open-ended. Are you having any pain or resistance with work? That's an open-ended question. The second resistance is typically a closed-ended menu. Are you having any pain or resistance with work? So you're not having any pain or resistance. And then typically with a negative reverse. The third question is typically what's called a negative reverse. But if we shorten it to 2 questions with a negative, absolute negative reverse, absolute positive, with the chief complaint, to the highest probability of motion, that's what you want answered. Okay? So it sounds like this. You have any pain or restrictions with work, Craig? Not at all. So you're saying you don't have any pain or restrictions with your neck at all at work, and it's 100% healthy. Is that what you're telling me? So you're telling me you can, when you bend your head backwards as far as you can at work, you have no pain or discomfort, and it's 100% healthy. Is that what you're telling me? Those were 3. That's typically the 3 ways to ask a question: open-ended, closed menu, negative reverse. And all I'm doing is, if you want to simplify it, ask 2 and put 2 and 3 together. Put 2 and 3 together. Negative reverse, total positive, negative, total positive, connect to chief complaint to the highest probability of motion. What's the chances I'm going to get something out of him now? Compare that to a neutral. So I'm saying, so you have no problems bending your head backwards, and when you bend your head all the way backwards at work, and it's 100% healthy. Is that what you're telling me? What's a chance I'm going to get him to give me a yes in that, and I'll be able to quantify it, as opposed to just saying, is this bothering you at work? Do you understand this? Because when it bothers at work, that's a static question. Where's all the problems in chiropractic, static or dynamic? Especially after the first 30 days. In the first 30 days, you'll have static issues to some degree. Chiropractic problems are dynamic. They're joint and they're dynamic. That's where your line of questioning and your diagnostic protocol has to pay all the attention, especially after the first re-exam. That's where all the findings are. It's not in gross range of motion. It's not in muscle strength tests. It's not in reflexes. All of those are normal in 30 days. Is that not right? For the most part.